Hello, plant community. Thanks for tuning into Full of Foliage. Pam's here creating a safe space, showing lots of grace, sharing a lot of plant care, plant hauls, planty crafts, and the occasional shopping trips. Join me so that we can become planty friends, have fun, and possibly learn and grow. Hey guys, do you ever go through life just thinking about past decisions, things that you've decided, and try to pull some form of a lesson from it, whether it's good or whether it's bad? If you do, then you may be interested in this video. I do. I do that in my personal life, my work life, and I even do it in my plant life. So, as we are approaching the end of 2025, I went back in my mind as far as the entire year's journey, and there were some things that I learned along the way, and I want to share with you 5 lessons that I've learned for 2025 as far as growing my plants. So, if this seems like something that you're interested in, as I always ask you guys to do, please show support by giving big thumbs up, double checking for me to ensure that you're subscribed to this channel, because we do have fun here, and I think a lot of you guys kind of like me because I like y'all, so I don't know, but we'll see, right? So let's just dive right on in. Okay, now I have my little notepad because I wanted to make sure that my thoughts were in order. One thing that I've definitely learned is every plant and every cutting cannot be saved, and it's okay. What I'm learning in that process, and what I mean by that is I am no longer stressing myself out trying to figure out a plant. I'm no longer just being so engrossed in how I can make that plant mature. As far as cuttings, I'm not saving all cuttings. It's okay to throw them in the trash. I mean, let's just be honest, because we don't have enough family and friends that are plant enthusiasts such as ourselves. There's only but so many plant swaps you can go to, and at some point in time, you even run out of space in your home. No matter how many plants you have, or you don't want to grow but only a certain amount of plants in your home, and it's perfectly okay. I think it's okay to put cuttings in the trash. I'll give you an example. Now, I will try to propagate some if it's for filling out the plant. And I probably should have did it with this one, honestly, but I did not. I cut her and I threw all the cuttings in the trash, and I didn't feel bad. And I know years ago I used to feel bad, but sometimes you gotta let things go. And this is my philodendron micans. She's not very showy by any means. As you can see, her leaves are very small, which is kind of okay because I literally have her sitting on the edge of my vitro shelf, and she's trailed down. Guys, she was so long till she was like she was all on my floor and like coming on the floor, and she was going to wind up being a tripping hazard. So I did a good snip, and what I should have did is I should have tried to attempt to propagate and put some at the top. As you can see, she is very bald at the top. I think that's probably what I will do the next time I give her a chop. But years ago, I probably would have felt so bad thinking, oh my God, I'm a bad plant parent. Oh my God, I'm killing the plant. Oh my God, I'm not, the environment and all. I can't be worried about that. That kind of stuff up here stresses me out. And what good is having a plant collection if you're going to be stressed out? That defeats the purpose. So I'm not doing that. And that's one of the things that I've learned. And it's okay, guys, if you want to. In this life, you have to do what makes you happy. You just have to. You only get one life, right? So anyway, that's the first tip. My second tip, oh my goodness, this is very important. You don't have to blast your plants with light. You don't have to blast all your plants with light. That is just my, that was my go-to. Oh my goodness, especially when I buy a plant and bring it home, give her a lot of light. She's not doing well, give her a lot of light. a lot, some plants just do not like a lot of light, and over this year, I'm slowly seeing that. I'm seeing that with the bleachy color of leaves. I got an example of it right here, honestly. And I wasn't going to show it to you guys because I don't know what's going on, but I really feel like it's a light. I moved her. Let's see if I can get her out of here. I moved her from one space to another, which I should not have done. And now her leaves is turning colors, and I think it's because she's getting just way too much light. And this is my peperomia incana. She's seen better days, you guys. You see how all these leaves have yellowed? It's either that or a watering issue. Either I'm not watering her enough because she's getting blasted with light, or she's becoming chlorotic because she's getting blasted with light. And so I want the leaves to look like these leaves up here. I don't know. I really messed this plant up, you guys. I really did. And y'all know how much I love this plant. I just kind of like left her in this corner for her to fend for herself. And if I take all these leaves off, she's going to be one bald, ugly incana. And I have not been successful with propagating her, so I really can't chop her unless I plant her in the soil. I don't know, maybe I'll throw balls to the wall and see what sticks. But this is just an indication of me forcing myself, my aesthetics or whatever, or blasting it with light. And it didn't work out with me. And I really need to find another space. I moved her initially to make room for another plant. And yeah, that's just... Okay, so outside of blasting with light, another example that I want to show, and I just recently, I don't know the order of how these videos is going to go, but I believe you may have seen my anthurium video by the time you see this video. Not sure. So, but anyway, my anthurium pallidiflorum, y'all already know the history between me and her. She and I, we have been having some up and down moments, but I moved her. I changed her light. She was being blasted with light and was not giving me anything until one of you guys recommended that I move her to a different light setting. And I put her in such a much lower light setting. I figured, what do I have to lose? I thought, honestly, that I was going to lose her. She was going to decline even more. But unbeknownst to me, she has not. She's been doing pretty good. And since I've moved her, she kind of unfurled this leaf. She was in the middle of unfurling, and this leaf right here. And then this leaf right here is one that's came out since I've changed her light setting. So again, this is just another testimony of us just really paying attention to our plants. And sometimes I try my best to pay attention to the plants, but when you do have a large collection, you kind of, you skip certain plants, like because of the trauma and the drama that I went through with this plant. I kind of overlook her because at first I was like, okay, what else is going on with you, or what am I doing? Because I've tried almost everything except for the light thing, because I thought that the light was what she needed. I never even thought of moving her from the light. I did move her away from outside light to like artificial lighting, thinking that would do something, but clearly not. Usually that would be the case with some of my plants, but it's not the case with her. So I'm assuming because she gave me this new leaf so quickly, I might add, maybe an indicator of her telling me that she didn't want all that light. So if that's the case, I do apologize. But can you just do me a favor and grow? Like, I had this plant for 5 years. Come on, man. I've had it with her, but I love her at the same time. A lot of love-hate relationships. You gotta love it, right? Okay. All right. Stay. Okay, so the next one, you guys. Okay. If you have a plant that's not giving you problems in a space, don't move her. Just leave her be. Don't move her. If the plant loves the space, don't move her. Sometimes I take for granted that if a plant loves the space, right, that this plant can be adaptable. Okay, she's not giving me no problems here. Let me just go ahead and move her because I want to style here. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then it winds up not being the case, you guys. So I move a plant and she dramatically changes. I mean, for the worse. And usually by the time, again, because I have a large collection, by the time I even notice it, it's almost too late. And so then I wind up, oh my gosh, I put her back into place and she does even worse because I think I shocked her twice. So what I'm learning, if it's not broke, don't fix it. If she's thriving in that space, leave that plant be. And if you have another plant style idea, do it somewhere else with another plant. Just don't even try it with that one because it just, I don't know, it doesn't work. It didn't work out for me. I don't know if you guys experienced that, but that's one of the things that I definitely did learn. Okay, my next one. Actually, yeah, okay. I'm going to show you probably the same plant as an example for my 2 lessons that I did learn this year. First lesson is going to be do not take self-watering plants or pots for granted. And I think I have done that several times. I fill out the bottom of the reservoir and I think I'm good, I'm done. But I had a lesson with this plant here, and I'm grateful for that because now I know this is my huge, I can't even get it in the screen, you guys. You see how big that orbifolia is? And she's in a plastic, thank goodness, because I would not be able to pick her up. She's in a plastic self-watering pot. The bottom of the basin is in my sunroom. I'm going to tell you a quick story as far as why I said don't take, geez, well, I'm at a loss for words today. Don't take self-watering pots for granted. So I filled the reservoir up and I had her in the spot in my sunroom as I always do. And her leaves started drooping and drooping and drooping. And I'm like, dang, she has water. What's going on while she's drooping? So I'm searching the plant for pests. I'm looking underneath the leaves. I'm looking in the part where the leaf and the petiole meets, the cracks and crevices. I gave us a little wipe down just to be sure, but I did not see anything. And I thought, okay, I have the heater running in there because it's cold and y'all know I have to try to maintain the temperature in there because it's more or less like a 3-season room as opposed to 4. And I said to myself, I said, is she wilting because the heat is on and it's making hot? And I'm like, that can't be the case because she would absorb this water. That's what I'm thinking. And then I said, you know what, let me take her out of the sunroom. And I set her in here in this dining room. And I was looking at her and I said, And then I thought, I said, can it be that simple? Can it be that simple? And so what I did was I poured, even though she was in a self-watering pot, I poured, you can't even, I wish I could show y'all because you can't see. Oh, maybe you can. She has a lot of cocoa chips. That's the best way I can show you guys. Oh my goodness. She has a lot of cocoa chips. And I said, let me pour water on the top. I pour water on the top. And I said, if that's it, she'll bounce back. by the next day. And the next day, you guys, she was slowly coming up. In spite of the fact that I had water in the reservoir. And that said, I said, that was that aha moment. I said, okay, Pam, you have to not take these self-watering planters for granted, and you have to start really flushing them from the top from time to time, because these roots get wounded up, and we're just assuming, okay, all the roots are going down, but they may not. They may be up here in the planter, wounded up. And if the roots are up here, chances are in a self-watering pot, it's going to stop once it wicks up the water down here. And that way, the roots right here aren't getting the nutrients that they, require. And so I'm like, okay. And she bounced right back. I would have had a fit, you guys. This is like one of my favorite plants. I grew her from a 3-leaf to this monstrous, beautiful, and I prune her all the time, which is the best thing you can do for her. She's getting good quality light. I feel like me having her in the sunroom is the trick that led her to start thriving, because when I had her in here, she just wasn't, I don't know what it was. She did not like the space inside my home, but she loves it in there. I don't think I would ever move her out of there. And maybe I would, because she is, guys, look at that. Would you look at this? She is like huge, monstrous. But that was the lesson that I learned nonetheless. And I was like, I said, yeah. So it made me actually look at self-watering pots in a whole different light. And I'm trying to be mindful of that, every once in a while, flush from the top, stop filling it at the bottom. So maybe I can do that, just flush it. When the reservoir is dry, water the plant from the top, and it'll drain and drip down into the tray. And then when she get thirsty again, she'll absorb that. So I think that is the way to go. But I'm glad she taught me this lesson, because yeah, that could have been a reason. So if y'all don't know if y'all have experienced that, I was wondering why, something as simple as that. Yeah, I don't know. I just never would have thought that, honestly, because she was, in my mind, I thought she was getting water, but clearly she wasn't. And so, yeah, that's the lesson. And then my last lesson, which will involve an example of this planter, and that is roots coming out of the pot does not always necessarily mean that it's root bound. And I had to use, because I pulled it out and I saw it. Okay, example again, these are her roots. And if you can see, she has some coming out of the pot. I honestly don't think this plant is root bound. Not too long, I potted her up. I changed that pot probably a year ago. Now, I know you guys out there in plant world is like, well, Pam, it's been a year, so maybe she should be upsizing her, but I'm not going to upsize it. I don't think she's root bound. What I do know is there's a lot of cocoa chips in this planter that I did, and I did it on purpose to kind of like balance my watering regimen, and it's been working with her. But I do know that with cocoa chips in the mixture, certain plants, their root system grows like crazy. And it could be just this. I've had several instances throughout this year where I said, oh my gosh, a root is coming out of the pot. Oh my gosh, it's root bound, it's root bound. And it is not root bound when I pull it out. It's not root bound. It's just one root. It's just saying, it's thirstier than the others. And it just made their way down at the bottom. And then I wound up having to put the plant back. So what I'm learning is not to be in such a rush to upsize them as quickly just because you see the roots. Some plants kind of thrive as well a little bit better when they are have more roots in the pot. So she is not giving me any indication that she doesn't have space in here. She's not giving me any indication of me having to water her more often. To me, those indications right there would, along with roots coming out of the pot, will signal to me that she may possibly be root bound. So there's other indicators outside of just that we have to pay attention to. And I think that's what the lesson that I've learned this year, pulling out my plants. And sometimes I ignored that thought and actually went with the flow because I was so quick to want to put this plant in this beautiful pot that I just brought. And that's just insane to even think that way, because I was in a rush because I had a vision. It's on Pam's time and not the plant's time, and that's where the two P's cross, I guess. But I'm just learning through my journey, though, you guys. Each year, I take something that I learned from the year before, and I try to apply it to the next year. And I don't know if everybody does that. I don't know if you guys do that, but I recommend y'all trying to do that. And that's part of the journey. That's part of the growth. But that's growing actually inside here. It really doesn't have anything to do with the plants in particularly. It's just your internal growth. What things did you discover or came across this year that you felt was a learning lesson, that you felt was a learning curve, that you felt that benefited you in a way that helped you gain knowledge a little bit more? And that's my perspective with growing these plants. That's why I'm always doing little experiments and I'm testing things out and I'm trying different substrates and things like that. And it's not really for me to be part of what everybody else is doing, because that is just not my thing. I'm not with what everybody else is doing, but I am with trying to figure out what works best, because my ultimate goal in this plant journey is making sure that my plants are healthy, that they're happy, that they're thriving, if that makes sense. But yeah, I hope this video benefited someone. I just felt it was on my heart to do it. Yeah, y'all, let me know if you learned any mishaps, what good experiences or bad experiences throughout your plant journey that you've learned in 2025 that you are definitely going to take over into 2026. I would love to read your thoughts. And as always, keep in mind, if you love foliage as much as I do and you love listening to planty things, definitely subscribe to this channel if you have not. Keep doing what I've been asking you guys, pushing those thumbs up, up, and up, and up. It's definitely been helping out my channel. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, you guys, to everybody with, the kind words and just the perspectives and your suggestions. And I just love interacting with you guys. So really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Enjoy your day wherever you are in the world. And until next time, much love. Bye.